Hey, beautiful people. Thank you for tuning into the Perfectly Imperfect podcast. The podcast all about being the best authentic version of yourself through self-care, self-love, and a positive mindset. I'm your host, Dominique, and I'm so excited to bring this podcast to you. Every episode, I will bring you a topic or a guest that will have you take a look into yourself. We'll brush up on what's going on in the world. We'll indulge into some guilty pleasure and then send you into the world ready to conquer whatever comes your way with positive energy and gratitude. So let's get the episode started. Are you ready? Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of the Perfectly Imperfect podcast. Thank you for joining me, and I'm so glad you can be part of the conversation today. Currently, I am sitting outside of my home. It's a pretty quiet morning. It's a little chilly, kind of breezy, but I thought this was a good place to do the podcast today. So you may hear animals in the background. You may hear a car drive by. So please bear with me, okay? All right. So today we will be talking about quarantine mentality, and I will share some survival tips that I have come up with. I know it's been a state of confusion and fear. Confusion because no one has had the answers, not even our government officials. And fear because we don't know what to expect, and we as humans tend to be uncomfortable with unknown. Those are the common feelings amongst us. Lately, I've been receiving a lot of questions regarding the quarantine and how others are getting through it. So I took the most asked questions and made it into today's show. I hope it helps, and most importantly, it reassures you that you are not alone. So let's get into it. So the first most commonly asked question I have gotten was, I'm having a hard time adjusting to a regular schedule with the kids. How are you adjusting? So for me, having the kids home all day and night is a hard thing to adjust to. You're instantly homeschooling, and that may be a challenge within itself because the school curriculum has changed. The kids are balls of energy and they're cooped up in the house, so they're a little more extra than usual and a little more than you can handle. The older kids think it's a vacation and you're having a hard time getting them to do just a simple chore. And then on top of that, you have to maintain the home, which is definitely a tough task in itself. One thing I found useful is a routine. I found a good one online and tweaked it a little bit to fit our needs. I will say so far it's been working out. The kids get up knowing what is going on for the day and look forward to different parts of the schedule. Our walks are the most popular ones. Another way you can make it engaging for the kids is to have a star chart, and every time they achieve a task on the schedule or complete a daily schedule without difficulties, they get a gold star. And what I've seen some families do is they save the stars for the end of the week, and so that they can cash them in for extra snacks, art supplies, or more time added on to the activity of their choice, which I think is a really good idea. It kind of shows that the kids are working towards something. And I think these are fun ways to incorporate a schedule and gives the kids a sense of responsibility. All right, so the next question is, what do you do for workouts or to stay active? So there's a track by my house that's open still, so I try to get there first thing in the morning. It doesn't usually get crowded throughout the day, but I just like going in the morning. It kind of starts my day off. It's like my coffee, so I go there. If I can't get to the track, my street's pretty long. It's about a quarter of a mile. So I'll usually run this street back and forth. So for strength training, I use resistance bands. I tend to focus on my legs and glutes with the resistance bands. I'm attempting to incorporate push-ups for upper body strength because I have none, and that's baby steps for me. So I do that for upper body, and for ab work, I just do crunches, but I do 100 a day, and I break them up into sets. I break all the routines up into sets, except for my running. I do that in one stretch. I also know it's important to work out your mental as well as your body. So for that, I am starting to incorporate meditating. I'm just shooting for just having the ability to sit down and do it. I'm not shooting for a time. There's different ways to do it. You can look that up. We can talk about it. I'll post some stuff that I found as well. But that's what I do for a mental workout. Kind of helps with setting the mood, your mental mood for the day as well. But again, I'm not a workout expert. I do what works for me and my environment I'm in, so I suggest that you do the same. Some cool things I found is if you don't have traditional equipment at home, you can use water bottles or juice bottles, like the big heavy ones, for weights, and the small ones too, depending on what kind of resistance you want. If you have a kid around that you can still pick up, that's a great way to add resistance too. And it's a fun thing that I think the baby will enjoy. You can also use your own body weight. I've seen people squatting their stairs, like doing jump squats, lunges on the stairs as well, or even just getting out and walking for 30 minutes is a good thing, as long as you're just moving for 30 minutes. I know it's like 15 now, but I'm going to just say 30 because 15 you're really like just getting into it. So there's that. I mean, it's really a good time to get creative with how you are going to move. So there's also plenty of workout accounts on Instagram. You can follow many of them, and a lot of them have live sessions daily or weekly. Also, too, I will say, I'm not an expert again, but I believe that eating right is a major thing, especially since we can't be as active as we want to. So what you eat has always been a big factor in your health, but now that we're a little more sedentary, we should think about it more than usual, and try to eat as healthy as possible and really pay attention to how you're eating throughout the day. I know that especially me, not especially me, but also me, I can relate to when you're at home and you're not moving around, you kind of want to snack a little more than usual. So I do try to pay attention to what I am snacking on, especially if I know I'm not going to run that day or it's one of my off days. So, so just pay attention to what you're eating. If you're a snacker, just please make sure you snack healthy. I know especially parents, it's easy to just eat after the kids, but that also can add a lot to your intake. So just keep that in mind. All right, y'all. So we're going to take a quick break and pay some bills, but there's more questions coming up. So stay tuned. I can't tell you how much I strive to look for natural, handmade products to use for me and my family. I love the Bath Bar products because of this reason. The Bath Bar is an all-natural, all-handmade bath and body products company where every product is handmade with love. With products from bath bombs, loofah soaps, bath salts, kid bath sets, hand sanitizers, and soap, there's something for everyone. I especially love the pink lemonade soap bar and body butter set. The citrus in the morning really wakes up my body. There are so many great products to indulge yourself and have some you time, because we all need that during this quarantine time. So go shop bathbarshop.com and take 10% off your first order using code IDESERVEIT. That's code IDESERVEIT, all one word. With that kind of deal, I might get some quarantine survival products for my sister circle. So do something worth remembering because you deserve it. Go shop the Bath Bar today. All right, y'all, and we're back. We're going to get right into the next question. So that is, what does your quarantine glow up look like? So for me, it's growing this podcast, maintaining my health, and start defining my muscles. I want to finish my certificate program, so this is a good time because I have some downtime now. Continue to feed my passions more, whether it be finding hobbies or outlets or incorporating it into what I already have established. And then I just want to connect with my loved ones more. I feel this is a good time because you are getting to know them, and you have to know them in different ways too. Everybody wonders what a long distance relationship looks like, so we're all getting that chance to see it. The next question is, what books are you reading? Um, so I'm currently reading three. The first one is called Girls Stop Apologizing. It's by Rachel Hollis. I just started it, but so far it's engaging because it's like she's telling a story and being motivating at the same time, which is really cool. Um, so I will get into that more as I go along into the book. The other book I'm reading is The Wisdom of Sundays by Oprah. It's a quick read, but it's one of those books where you can always open a page and get some motivation. So it's a good book to have, especially when you are in negative thoughts or just need a little pick you up, a little pick me up, a little mental jolt of good feeling. So I think that's a good book for that because you can literally open up to any page and see a inspiring picture or a quote or segment from her show Soul Sundays. So it's a good inspirational book to keep on hand. And then the third book I'm reading is called Transform Your Life, 10 Principles of Abundance and Prosperity by Chris Lee. So this is an interesting book because it's telling you different ways to be abundant and how that incorporates your prosperity in life. So I think that's really a good perspective to have because if you don't have abundance, you really can't evolve in life. So I think that's it's a good read. So I will keep you guys posted on the books. What kind of books are you guys reading? I always am open to suggestions, so please let me know. All right, so the next question is, are there any creative ways to stay busy or occupied? So I had a virtual happy hour with my girlfriends. It was pretty fun. We used this app called House Party, and it was pretty fun. Like just being in the comfort of your own home, but still connecting with your friends that aren't there, but it feels like they're there right in your living room. So it's a cool experience because, you can go about what you would typically be doing at home, but now you have a whole bunch of other girls talking to you and drinking wine or whatever they have with you. So it was pretty fun. Definitely want to do it again. You can sign up for a course. It could be anything at this point. I know Udemy and Khan Academy, have really good courses that you can do. I know they are probably having a flash sale. I know Udemy was. I'm not sure if they still do. You can find creative ways to keep the kids occupied or help them learn. I've been thinking about making a scavenger hunt for the kids, so I'm going to try to figure out a fun way to do that and what I want them to find and things like that. I've been doing a lot of research on fun activities for learning. That is like a whole world. Teachers, I commend you because it's not an easy task to teach kids. So I appreciate all the work that you do. I always say that, but I'm just going to say that again. I say that you can always rearrange furniture or add a little something to your home. Like right now we want to have a calming place, a sanctuary, and I think that your home now is that, and you want to make that environment as tranquil and relaxing and multifunctional as you can. So I think that's a good thing to do. It doesn't have to be a big remodel. It could be putting a splash of color in your bathroom or changing your pillows on your couch or making a little quiet nook for you to sit and read. Add something different to the scenery. For me, I made a little multifunctional workspace, so when I'm not working on it, it's my table, like my bedside table, so it's pretty cool. I like it. Keeps me focused more. You can decide to take on a new habit or hobby, maybe a habit. You can make it if you enjoy that much. Trying new things like wine. There's abundance of wine out there that's not being bought up like toilet paper, FYI. And, I decided that I'm going to try new red wines because I'm starting to like red wine. So that's a cool thing for me. And I heard a good tip today. If you have like a VR or Oculus or virtual reality set, you should like go on that thing and like visit other countries. And they said that they liked it because it was like they were on a vacation. So I thought that was cool. So if somebody does have a VR thing or Oculus and they try that, let me know how that is. All right, so the next question is, what are some things you do to preserve your mental health? So for me, it's finding ways to get out of my head. I like to call them mental vacations. Some ways I do that is I go for a run. Coloring is really cool. I like coloring. I have this coloring book called The Secret Garden, and it's very like intricate, and I got a whole bunch of cool colored pencils. So it's a good way to get lost in a moment and get out of your head. It kind of helps me be creative more. So I do like coloring. I have to make sure I put that in my routine more. I'd say going for a walk or getting fresh air throughout the day is a way to do that. And when you are outside, if you decide to go for a walk, especially if you don't have kids and you're by yourself, you don't have to tend to somebody, just be present. Don't think about anything else, or try not to. Just be present in the moment. Take in your scenery and notice how green here I'm in Washington, but notice how green the trees are and how plush our grass is and how clear the sky is and how blue it is, and what does the air smell like and how does it feel against your skin. Like, just try to be really present in the moment. I think that's a good thing because you're there, you're enjoying that moment there. You're not distracted by anything else. I would say recognize your frustrating feelings or thoughts. It is perfectly normal to have those thoughts. Our lives were changed in an instant, and instead of having the choice to leave, we were forced to stay in. And I know that having your freedom to choose taken away is like a complete and total mind fuck. So that's why I recognize those thoughts and feelings. I feel like suppressing them will only make it messier when those feelings finally do come out, and it's not something that you want to do. It's like if you shake up a soda bottle or a can and then open it and everything explodes out because of the pressure that was building up. That's how I imagine that blow up would be. And also, just don't feel guilty for having those thoughts and feelings. Whatever you need to do to get those thoughts and feelings out, do that in a safe way. Like journaling is another good way, or even there's notes in your phone. Even when you have those thoughts, just writing them down and then just letting it be that. But just don't feel guilty for having that, and just don't keep the negative energy built up in you. It is also important to decompress from your week. So there are some ways that help me. One of them is actually just like I will choose a day or half a day to not do anything, like not lay around, not check my phone, not feel like I have to rush out the house, not feel like if I have to get up if I don't want to, just laying there and doing nothing and spending time with my husband while we do nothing, maybe watch a movie or catch up on some shows. But I feel that's a great way. It's just another way to get out of your mind. So definitely decompress that way. I indulge in what makes you happy. And that's why it's important for you to find out what makes you happy and incorporate those into your daily routine now. Because I'm telling you, mentally, that will help you in the biggest way. So, hop on a virtual call with friends, journal, and externalize your issue, like I said, or put it on paper and just move on with it. But, or indulge in an activity that makes you happy, like I said. So that's another way to decompress. Another good way is to lean in your faith, whatever that is. Pray, meditate. Whatever centers and strengthens you the most, lean into that. When you fall into these negative thoughts and feelings, recall that moment. All right, I saved the best question, I thought anyway, for last. And that is, what lessons has COVID-19 has taught you so far? I wouldn't say They were lessons I didn't know, more reminders. One was a reminder to slow down and reconnect with ourselves. So many of us are always on the go. Our days are packed with so much to do, and it has become our normal, our routine. We don't even think to slow down and check in with ourselves. So now that we've been forced to stay put, most of us are reconnecting with our loved ones. But my question to you is, have you been reconnecting with yourself as well? I mean, if not, now is a great time to get to know you again. And I can't tell you how important that is. It's not selfish to take care of yourself before you take care of others, because, the cliche saying, if you're not good with yourself or within yourself, you can't be good to anybody else. So please take the time to check in and reconnect with yourself. I was also reminded of how life can change in an instant. I mean, think about it. One day we were going about our lives, business as usual, and then the next day, school's out. Okay? And then we're adjusting to that, getting, the babysitting schedule or the shift swaps down with the parents. And then businesses are getting shut down, people are getting laid off, and we have to stay home. So it was a lot of change in a very little time. I don't think one person expected that we would be living like this. So we're having to live and adjust new lifestyle. So it's kind of hard, but it is a reminder that life can change in an instant, and you cannot stay in the negative thoughts and moments of the change too long. I also was reminded that we need to look at the positive in all of this. Many of us are getting, that much needed break. We're getting more time with our families, because I'm sure some of us complain about that. And I even read that our environment is getting better. Countries usually covered in smog can see clear skies now. So maybe in a sense we are healing in other ways. So that is something to be grateful for. All right, y'all, we're going to take a quick break. Still to come, I will share some quarantine survival tips and Monday motivation. Stay tuned. During this lockdown, some of us aren't as fortunate to be in a safe, loving environment. For some of us, that can mean being locked down with their abuser. If you or someone you know is suffering from domestic violence, there are resources available to them. The National Domestic Violence and Teen Dating Violence 24-hour hotlines at 1-800-799-SAFE, that's 1-800-799-7233, or text LOVE IS to 22522. You can also chat at www.thehotline.org. You can call your local domestic violence agencies, most offering virtual support during this, counseling, and 24/7 hotline support. And please, as always, for immediate safety intervention, please call the police department. Also for referrals to advocates on safety planning, restraining orders, and emergency housing, the police department is your source for that. So please be safe. If you or someone you know is in this situation, please get help immediately, and I will pray for your safety. All right, we are back. So as promised, I have come up with some tips and more creative ways to survive the quarantine. One important thing I suggest is to get up and get dressed. I'm not saying get up and put on a full face, do your hair and makeup like you're about to go to work, but get up and wash your hair, comb it, put on some new pajamas, put on some comfortable leggings or jogger sweats or whatever it is, but just get up and wash yourself and present yourself. I have that belief that if you look good, you feel good, and especially now during these times, we need to look good and feel good. My second tip is to try to find a slice of silence within your day. I don't mean literal silence, because that is impossible when you're sharing a house with multiple people. What I mean is to try to find a slice of silence. So sometimes that means putting on your headphones, listening to your favorite singer, calming music, anything to put you in a relaxing mind state and just zone out. Read a book while you're listening to that music. Some people barricade themselves in the bathroom. Just a time that's not within your routine. And even if it's only for 5 minutes, but just sitting there and just putting on some calming music and zoning out. Music, I believe, will save us through all this. It is my therapy. I'm sure it's many other people's therapy. Definitely limit your news intake. That is my third tip. Because of such uncertainty and basically the news telling us that they have no idea what's going on, it's making people more panicked. So I think that everyone should limit their news intake because it will have you thinking some things because all you're doing is sitting in the house. So yeah, I would definitely limit the news intake. My fourth tip is to get active for at least 30 minutes a day. I think that's very important. Keep the blood flowing, keep the joints going, keep your mood right, get your mental right. Like I said, when you're out, just be present in the moment, take in what you see, what you smell, what you feel, what you hear, and just be as present as possible. I know a lot of us can't really spend extra money, so I found a good resource for reading books. If you are part of the library system, I know at least in Washington State, so Pierce, King, Tacoma Library, and I believe Seattle Library systems, you can borrow books online from your library for 21 days, and you can renew them. So that is a good and inexpensive way to get more books to read without spending the money. The dollar store also has kids' books, coloring books, workbooks, colored paper, crayons, and much more art and school supplies for your little scholars at home. So that's also a good, inexpensive way to have the supplies you need for the kids and not putting a big dent in your wallet. All right, y'all, it is time for some Monday motivation. This week, I'm going to bring you a quote by Germany Kent, and it reads, "Your Monday morning thoughts set the tone for your whole week. See yourself getting stronger and living a fulfilling, happier, and healthier life." I cannot tell you how true that is. I tell my friends this all the time. Our mindset controls everything we do, feel, and say. During these times, you have to keep a positive and progressive mindset. Your reality is what your mind manifests. So it's easier to fall into unproductive habits. So make sure you set a routine, get up, get yourself ready for the day, and show up for yourself. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the Perfectly Imperfect podcast. Don't forget to join me each Monday for a fresh new episode. You can listen to this episode and catch up on what you've missed on IGTV, Facebook, and YouTube. Please take the time to like, share this with a friend whom you think needs to hear this, leave a comment, and don't forget to follow. And as always, I'd love to hear from you, so please DM us on IG at b.perfectly.imperfect or call or text 206-712-1430. All of your questions, reviews, thoughts, or topics you'd like to hear about. You can also follow me on Instagram at perfectly_imperfect_host because I love to connect with my listeners personally as well. So go into the world with light and love, and remember, being perfectly imperfect is something to celebrate. Talk to you soon. Bye.